Prime Field.
On a FIBA stage in Croatia, a single performance registered a tournament first. 31 points, 24 rebounds, 6 blocks, 3 steals, a performance efficiency valuation of 50. Those numbers appeared in the official box score. They also appear in scouting reports. This documentary examines a single thesis. Olivia Vukosa may represent the most pro-ready post-prospect Geno auriemma has recruited since Tina Charles. The claim is driven by measurable outcomes: international dominance, 3-level scoring, passing that creates matchup problems, defensive impact that registers in blocks, steals, and rebound totals. The central question is clear. Do the facts support the comparison to Tina Charles? The film proceeds by laying out the evidence. It moves from statistics to lineage, from skill breakdown to roster fit, and from program history to likely impact. Each chapter sticks to verifiable events and performance. No conjecture, no unimagined scenes, only documented achievement. The next chapter sets the statistical foundation. Numbers anchor this evaluation. At the 2023 FIBA U16 European Championship, Vukosa averaged 22.6 points and 17.1 rebounds per game. Her performance efficiency valuation in that event was 28.9. She led the tournament in both scoring and rebounding. During the 2024-25 junior season at Christ the King, she averaged 19.4 points, 17.9 rebounds, 5.5 blocks, and 3.8 assists per game. Those outputs earned national state-level honors, including the Gatorade New York Girls Basketball Player of the Year. The statistical profile included both interior dominance and playmaking. At the 2024 FIBA U17 World Cup, Vukosa averaged 19.4 points and 15.6 rebounds per game. Field goal efficiency was 44.6%, with free throw accuracy at 79.4%. She added 2.6 blocks per game and received Best Defensive Player and All-Star Second Team recognition. The statistical record continues into 2025. At the FIBA U20 Women's Eurobasket Division B, she shot 42.1% from three-point range while averaging 15.6 points per game. In the third-place game of that tournament, she posted 35 points and 22 rebounds. These figures establish the baseline: scoring at multiple levels, rebounding at elite rates, defensive contributions and blocks and steals. The next chapter places these achievements in institutional context. Christ the King. Regional High School is a recognized pipeline. It produced Sue Bird and Tina Charles. Both players arrived at the professional level with top draft status and significant WNBA impact. Vukosa arrives with that lineage. Christ the King head coach Bob Mackey, who coached Sue Bird, offered a character assessment. She doesn't care if she scores 5 points or scores 25 points. She's got that mentality of team wins. This is what we do. That quote appears in local reporting and in scouting profiles. It speaks to role acceptance rather than personal narratives. The school's history matters because it connects developmental environment to college readiness. Vukosa's statistical profile at Christ the King aligns with prior elite alumni in terms of production and high-level competition. The next chapter examines the tools behind the numbers. 3-level scoring. Vukosa has shown shooting range that extends to 3-point territory. At the 2025 FIBA U20 tournament, she shot 42.1% from 3. That range alters how opponents defend her and how she fits into modern spacing schemes. Passing vision. At the 2024 FIBA U17 World Cup, she averaged 2.6 assists per game. Scouting logs record multiple games with 4 to 5 assists. In high school, she produced games with double-digit scoring and multiple assists. Those outputs indicate playmaking from the high post and from short roll actions. Rim protection and physicality show in block totals in the historic tournament performance in Croatia. The 31-24-6-3 game combined scoring, rebounding, and shot deterrence at an unprecedented efficiency rating. That performance reinforced her defensive reputation and contributed to tournament-level defensive honors. Together, these tools comprise a modern big skill set: floor spacing, facilitation, and paint deterrence. The following chapter examines how those skills translate to defensive schemes at the collegiate level. Vukosa's frame, listed at 6'4", paired with mobility, produced defensive statistics that include 2.6 blocks and 1.7 steals per game at the U17 World Cup. Those numbers suggest both vertical protection and lateral anticipation. Examples from international play illustrate role breadth. In the Puerto Rico game, at the U17 World Cup, she recorded 23 rebounds with 16 defensive rebounds and added 2 steals. The stat line demonstrates presence on the glass and awareness on the perimeter. ESPN scouting comparisons referenced agility similar to UConn alum Stephanie Dolson. Dolson's UConn totals included significant scoring, rebounding, and blocks, and she played within systems that required both interior play and movement. Vukosa's defensive profile implies she can operate in switching schemes and guard multiple front court responsibilities. Those capabilities feed directly into UConn's tactical choices. The next chapter compares Vukosa to recent UConn bigs to clarify the program fit. Recent post players at UConn offer relevant comparisons. Jana El Alfi, as a redshirt freshman, averaged 5.0 points and 5.1 rebounds in limited minutes, while contributing to an improved defensive rating when on the court. Olivia Nelson-Ododa posted strong block numbers and produced a peak sophomore season before settling into consistent collegiate production. Aaliyah Edwards graduated as a high-volume scorer and rebounder, finishing with over 1,800 career points and 1,020 rebounds. Vukosa's international and high school outputs exceed many raw per-game totals compiled by those players at comparable ages. Her three-point accuracy and assist numbers differentiate her from traditional post prospects in the recent UConn pipeline. This statistical distinction frames the claim of pro readiness. The following chapter examines how that readiness maps onto actual roster competition at stores. When Vukosa enrolls in 2026-27, UConn's front court will include established contributors. Sarah Strong produced a freshman season with 16.4 points, 8.9 rebounds, and 1.7 blocks per game. Jana El Alfi and Sarah Williams will provide veteran minutes. Freshman to sophomore progression for Gandhi Malou Mameli will also affect rotation decisions. Vukosa's three-point shooting and passing ability create tactical options. Auriemma's system has deployed small ball lineups with forwards and centers occupying varied roles. Strong has already played both 5 and 4 in such sets. Vukosa's skill distribution, stretch shooting, interior scoring, playmaking, and rim protection matches the profile for 5 and positionless schemes. Competition for minutes will be real. Depth will be a program asset. Vukosa's tools, however, create explicit matchup advantages and stylistic flexibility that impact rotation planning. The next chapter places that impact against UConn's historical record of developing professional post players. UConn's history of developing WNBA talent is quantifiable. The program has produced 28 first-round WNBA draft picks and 6 number 1 overall selections. Several former Huskies have become WNBA MVPs and franchise cornerstones. Post players from UConn have translated collegiate resumes into professional accolades. Tina Charles departed UConn as the program's all-time leading scorer and rebounder. Other post players, Stephanie Dolson, Nafisa Collier, Aaliyah Edwards, followed distinct developmental curves and reached the WNBA with differing to immediate impacts. UConn's coaching, competition level, and systemic emphasis on skill development form a consistent environment for player progression. Vukosa arrives with international experience that exceeds many incoming freshmen. That background may compress the developmental timeline UConn typically applies to raw prospects. The subsequent chapter traces the specific Croatian connection and its programmatic resonance. Croatia has produced recent UConn contributors. Nika Moul arrived with FIBA experience and set program assist records. Vukosa's Croatian resume is statistically more decorated at youth levels, with multiple all-star selections and defensive honors. Her international performances include tournament-leading scoring and rebounding, plus Best Defensive Player recognition at the U17 World Cup. The international pedigree supports readiness in several ways. It demonstrates experience against varied styles. It provides exposure to high-level coaching and to pressure environments. Those factors complement UConn's development model and add comparative data points that scouts and coaches use when projecting collegiate roles. The film now moves to the concluding chapter on legacy and potential impact. Olivia Vukosa's documented achievements combine measurables on production with transferable skills. International tournament dominance, 3-level scoring, passing that produces assist numbers uncommon for a traditional center, defensive metrics that include blocks, steals, and exceptional rebounding totals. These elements form the factual basis for evaluating pro readiness. This documentary has examined the thesis that she is the most pro-ready post-prospect Geno auriemma has recruited since Tina Charles. The evidence presented supports the comparison on multiple axes: statistical dominance at youth international events, a high school production profile aligned with top recruits, and a skill set suited to modern positionless systems. How that evidence translates to collegiate minutes, draft status, and professional impact remains dependent on variables the record cannot yet fix: adaptation to Division I physicality, role assignment within an experienced front court, and continued development under program coaching. The available facts, however, indicate a player whose profile is consistent with high-level professional projection. If the projection holds, Vukosa's arrival at UConn would extend the program's history of producing WNBA-caliber post players. She would add a Croatian chapter to that lineage and present a contemporary model of center play that combines spacing, playmaking, and interior protection. The final assessment is grounded in performance. The numbers and honors support the claim. The coming seasons will determine how those credentials reshape expectations for the center position. This is the story of documented outcomes and measurable tools. It is the story of a prospect whose resume asks a straightforward question of program and league alike.
Prime Field.